Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today, we're diving into a fascinating story from China, exploring how quickly people can change despite being perceived as loving spouses or close buddies, showing how swiftly they can turn against each other. Let's get started. On the bright morning of April 16, 2006, in Hefei City, China, Li Wei, a local resident, started his usual morning run. As he jogged along the mountain trails, enjoying the cool breeze and the chirping of birds, something strange caught his eye, a lump against the rocky wall. Approaching cautiously, Li Wei realized it wasn't a cushion as he initially thought. It was a human body, starting to decompose. Shocked and scared, he quickly called for help. Soon, a team of experts arrived. They confirmed that the man had died about 5 days earlier. Watching them work, Li Wei felt a mix of sadness and disbelief. The peaceful mountain he loved had turned into the scene of a terrible event. When examining the victim's belongings, a forensic technician discovered a small amount of red substance stuck to the edge of the belt buckle, with no personal documents. Upon analyzing its composition, it was found to be a high-grade metallic paint containing iron and other elements. This type of paint is commonly used for spraying onto the surface of luxury car bodies. After comparison, the composition of this metallic paint completely matched that of Audi car paint. Therefore, it was deduced that the victim had come into contact with a red Audi car before his death. Following the announcement of the discovery of the body in the media, a married couple arrived to identify it, believing that the appearance, height, and age of the body closely resembled that of their missing son, named Lin Zhong. Lin Zhong received a phone call from his cousin named Chen Wei around noon on March 17, about a month before the discovery of the incident, asking for help. Lin Zhong left home and hadn't been heard from since. After comparing and identifying, the victim turned out to be Lin Zhong. Lin Zhong didn't have a steady job. He made a living doing odd jobs for others. His death was closely related to Chen Wei. The police immediately went to Chen Wei's house to inquire about the incident, but he had disappeared. Chen Wei spent 12 years in prison for fraud, robbery, and other crimes. After his release, he made a fortune by opening restaurants and entertainment centers, eventually buying a mansion in the best neighborhood of Hefei. He left his wife and married a beautiful flight attendant named Xiao Wen, causing quite a stir in the local community. However, Chen Wei had a gambling addiction, and Xiao Wen was prone to extravagant spending. They burned through millions of US dollars in less than 2 years, accumulating even more debt in the process. Xiao Wen told the police that on the afternoon of March 17, Chen Wei brought Lin Zhong home. Exhausted from her pregnancy, she was resting in bed when she faintly heard two voices conversing in the living room, mentioning Myanmar and the Golden Triangle. Afterward, the two men left the house and lost contact. Based on Xiao Wen's information, it seemed that Chen Wei and his brother were discussing smuggling illegal substances into Myanmar. The police immediately sent a request for assistance to the authorities in Yunnan province to investigate, but there were no records of their entry or exit. After a week of checking airport records, bus and train stations from March 17 until before Lin Zhong's murder, the police found no evidence of their presence at those locations. If Xiao Wen's account was accurate, there was only one possibility left: Chen Wei and Lin Zhong traveled by car. However, Lin Zhong didn't own a car and didn't know how to drive. Both Chen Wei's black Mercedes-Benz and Xiao Wen's BMW had been used by Chen Wei to pay off his gambling debts since the beginning of the year. Chen Wei didn't borrow cars from friends, acquaintances, or relatives, and no one dared to lend him one. All car rental agencies in the city had no records of Chen Wei and Lin Zhong renting a car. Unable to find any trace of Chen Wei, everything seemed to hit a dead end, with no new leads emerging. The police shifted their focus to investigating Xiao Wen, as they realized that everything they knew so far was based on her words. During their interactions with her, they also noticed moments when she seemed uneasy and not entirely comfortable, prompting a deeper investigation into Xiao Wen. It was revealed that Xiao Wen had previously had several intimate relationships with other men before meeting Chen Wei. Shortly after their marriage, feeling neglected by her husband's cold obsession with gambling, she engaged in an affair with a wealthy real estate investor named Li Bin. Strangely, Li Bin also disappeared around the same time Chen Wei and Lin Zhong went missing. So now, with 3 missing men, 1 confirmed dead, Lin Zhong the body found at the beginning of the story, the focus shifts to Li Bin as a new lead. The police immediately rushed to his house to question him. Li Bin's wife reveals that on the evening of March 17, the same day the other 2 men disappeared, Li Bin went out for drinks to discuss business matters as usual. Around 10:30 p.m., she received a call from him, claiming he was negotiating a big contract and urgently needed money. Li Bin instructed his wife to take $190,000 in cash from the safe at home, put it in 2 suitcases, and leave them in the trunk of the Jeep parked in the garage. He then called his sister-in-law to drive to the front parking lot of a large hotel and wait for him. Li Bin always carried the key to the Jeep, so he would retrieve the car and the money himself. This wasn't the first time he had asked for money, so Li Bin's wife didn't question it much, immediately following his instructions with her younger brother. After discovering Li Bin's disappearance, his family found the Jeep parked in its usual spot, and Li Bin's BMW, which he had driven on the night he went missing, was also parked in the same lot, but the money was gone. When Li Bin's relatives opened the trunk to check, forensic technicians couldn't determine whether Li Bin or someone else had taken the money. Li Bin's wife recounted that when he called demanding money, his voice sounded urgent but not panicked, and she didn't notice anything unusual. Upon investigation, Li Bin didn't show up at the hotel that night. The police couldn't track where Li Bin had gone or who he had been with that evening. 1 person dead and 2 missing had all had some contact with Xiao Wen, but the police couldn't find clear evidence linking her to the case. Stuck in their investigation, the team returned to the clue about the red Audi that Lin Zhong had encountered before his death, but Xiao Wen, Chen Wei, and Li Bin all said they didn't own or drive that car. Even among Xiao Wen's family and friends, nobody had a red Audi. They wondered if maybe Li Bin had bought the car for Xiao Wen to impress her. So they checked all the car registration records in the city and looked into car dealerships, trying to find out who had bought a red Audi recently. Finally, they found something. A car dealer recognized Xiao Wen in a photo and remembered selling her a red Audi A4 in early March. She paid in cash and registered it under her mom's name. The neighbors and security guards in Xiao Wen's neighborhood hadn't seen the red Audi before. The police secretly searched Xiao Wen's mom's place and questioned her relatives, friends, and acquaintances, but they didn't find anything. After scouring all the parking lots in the city, they finally found the car registered at the entrance gate of a high-end residential area. Xiao Wen had bought a villa there with cash at the end of February, using someone else's name as the owner, supposedly to make it easier to date Li Bin. All connections to the case lead back to Xiao Wen. The police swiftly obtained a warrant to search her mansion and found the red Audi hidden in the garage. Forensic experts discovered 2 fresh scratches under the trunk. Samples of the paint were analyzed and matched the metallic paint component found on the buckle of Lin Zhong's belt. Upon inspecting the opening and closing mechanism of the trunk, the police found fingerprints belonging to Chen Wei and Xiao Wen. They also discovered traces of blood inside, identified through DNA analysis as belonging to both Lin Zhong and Li Bin. Li Bin's blood was older, followed by a layer of Lin Zhong's blood on top. During the search of the mansion, the police found a large freezer in the basement, inside of which was Chen Wei's body, Xiao Wen's husband. The floor and walls bore signs of blood, likely from Li Bin and Lin Zhong. The basement was identified as the scene of the first murder, where both Li Bin and Lin Zhong were killed. Further investigation uncovered a chainsaw, hammer, and a 62-centimeter steel rod, all bearing traces of blood and human tissue, believed to be the murder weapons. Chen Wei's DNA was found on the handle of the chainsaw, and the blood and tissue samples on the blade belonged to Li Bin, Xiao Wen's lover. This suggests that Chen Wei dismembered Li Bin using the chainsaw. The DNA sample on the hammer and steel rod matched Xiao Wen's. Li Bin's blood was found predominantly on the hammer, with Chen Wei's blood also present. Lin Zhong's blood was found on the steel rod. Thus, all 3 men were confirmed deceased, with one likely being killed by Xiao Wen. The true nature of the story remains elusive, particularly Lin Zhong's relationship with Xiao Wen and his subsequent murder. Only Xiao Wen can provide the answers and reveal the truth. When the police went to arrest Xiao Wen, she probably sensed the danger and took off ahead of them, fleeing. With basic knowledge of evading pursuit, tracking her through phone or car GPS wouldn't lead anywhere. Neither her parents nor friends showed up, and she didn't contact anyone. The Anhui police faced immense pressure from the public and the seriousness of the case, so detectives were dispatched everywhere to trace Xiao Wen's footsteps. They relied on the public's help through television and social media. Eventually, someone reported seeing someone resembling Xiao Wen at a cosmetics surgery clinic. After confirming the situation, the police raided the clinic just before Xiao Wen was about to undergo plastic surgery. Perhaps she had planned to change her appearance and flee abroad. Initially, Xiao Wen denied the murder, but after the police presented a large amount of evidence, her psychological defense gradually weakened, and she confessed to her crime, revealing the entire story. According to their confession, Xiao Wen and Li Bin had known each other for a long time. Xiao Wen's husband, Chen Wei, had long suspected the two of having an affair but had no evidence. In early 2006, Chen Wei took Xiao Wen's car and jewelry to repay his gambling debts, and the couple saw each other as enemies. Disgusted with her husband, Xiao Wen grew closer to Li Bin. In early March, Chen Wei discovered that Xiao Wen was pregnant. Since the couple hadn't slept together since the beginning of the year, he became enraged and demanded to kill his wife. In a desperate moment, Xiao Wen lied that she was pregnant on the night Chen Wei, drunk, forced her to have intercourse, and she didn't inform him earlier because their relationship was tense. Knowing he often drank to forget his sorrows and woke up not remembering anything, Chen Wei wasn't sure if the baby in Xiao Wen's womb was his or not. On the morning of March 17th, Xiao Wen hid in the bedroom and secretly called her lover, Li Bin, to discuss matters, but was caught by her husband. She admitted to the affair but insisted that the pregnancy was Chen Wei's to prevent him from harming her. In anger, Chen Wei rushed to the kitchen and grabbed a knife. Xiao Wen quickly knelt down and begged for mercy. With her quick thinking, Xiao Wen realized that only money could change her husband's mind. She suggested a way for Chen Wei to earn a large sum of money from Li Bin. According to their plan, Xiao Wen arranged for Li Bin to come to the villa after 10 p.m. Chen Wei would wait for the right moment to burst into the bedroom and catch them red-handed, demanding ransom. Fearing he couldn't control Li Bin alone, Chen Wei called his cousin Lin Zhong for backup. However, Chen Wei had no intention of letting Li Bin off lightly. He prepared a freezer, a saw and other tools to settle the score for being cheated on. That night, as soon as Li Bin stepped into the villa, Chen Wei and Lin Zhong used a hammer and a knife to force him down to the basement and demanded money. Not willing to risk his life, Li Bin immediately called his wife to bring the money as instructed by Chen Wei. Then, unexpectedly, Chen Wei swung the hammer at his rival's head, but Xiao Wen reflexively raised her hand to block, causing the hammer to fall to the floor. Xiao Wen's act of protecting Li Bin in a moment of danger angered Chen Wei, who wanted to deal with both of them. Xiao Wen quickly hid behind Lin Zhong seeking protection. In the midst of intervening, Lin Zhong's hand was also injured. Witnessing Li Bin struggling to stand, Xiao Wen at first wanted to rescue her partner for his safety, but then, fearing her husband's anger, she quickly changed her mind. With a sudden shift in her thoughts, Xiao Wen cruelly grabbed the hammer from Chen Wei to continue the crime. Chen Wei's jealousy faded for a moment as he gave up on killing his wife. Chen Wei dealt with Li Bin's body and then drove the red Audi to dispose of it in the night, while also retrieving money from the Jeep's trunk parked outside the hotel. Afterwards, he returned to drive Li Bin's BMW to the hotel parking lot, then took a taxi back to the villa. During that time, Xiao Wen contemplated ways to get rid of Chen Wei before her pregnancy became exposed. She used all means to seduce Lin Zhong into bed, then manipulated his mind, convincing him that the police would quickly track them down once Li Bin's family reported him missing. She insisted they had to kill Chen Wei to cover their tracks, making it impossible for the police to find them, allowing them to enjoy the $190,000 without worries. Seeing Lin Zhong hesitate, Xiao Wen threatened to accuse him of misconduct. She claimed that Chen Wei killed Li Bin because he discovered their affair, and even paying a huge sum wouldn't save his life. Xiao Wen also suggested that Chen Wei surely wanted to deal with him to silence him and take all of the $190,000 for himself. Perhaps Lin Zhong's simple-mindedness and lack of a firm stance made him easy prey for Xiao Wen's manipulation. As dawn broke, Chen Wei returned, and Lin Zhong quickly mentioned needing to go to the hospital for his injured arm. As they stepped outside together, Lin Zhong grabbed Chen Wei, holding him tightly while Xiao Wen attacked with a hammer, stuffing the body into the freezer. To cover their tracks, Xiao Wen devised a plan to charm Lin Zhong, immersing him in their cozy world inside the mansion. Then, on the early morning of April 11th, while Lin Zhong slept soundly, she seized her chance. Using a metal rod hidden nearby, Xiao Wen struck him, then used the Audi to take the body to the mountains for disposal. During the drive, Lin Zhong's belt buckle accidentally scratched the car's paint, leaving a crucial clue for the police. So all the details of the case have been clarified, and on July 11, 2006, the trial took place behind closed doors. Although China's laws are very strict, with a murder case typically resulting in the death penalty, especially when it involves 3 deaths. However, the Anhui Provincial Court sentenced Xiao Wen to life imprisonment because she was pregnant. Our story has come to an end, but its consequences have not ended here. Besides the 3 men who have passed away, their families also face uncertain futures. Lin Zhong's elderly parents, Li Bin's wife and children, the perpetrator Xiao Wen herself, and especially the unborn child in Xiao Wen's womb, all unwitting victims of a complex tale of misguided love. If not for the desire for quick money, perhaps Chen Wei would not have lost his wife, someone he saw every day but was emotionally distant from, to the point of seeking happiness elsewhere. Lin Zhang, too, would not have joined his cousin in a kidnapping and extortion scheme, only to become the perpetrator of his own cousin's murder. It's the lure of money that can swiftly alter the mindset of loved ones, driving them to do anything for personal gain. I hope those who hear this story will not engage in wrongdoing, for small wrongs can quickly escalate into irreparable mistakes. Thank you all, and I wish you all moments of happiness.